Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Chris Gorski.
Today is May 23rd. We're going to hear part 2 today of the article Riding Trains and Sipping Tea, Alishan's Twin Treasures. We didn't say anything about sipping. Now, sipping is a special way of drinking a liquid, especially if it's hot or if it's a very special kind of liquid. So, for example, when the tea is really hot, you're probably going to sip so you don't burn your mouth. And if you're drinking a very expensive wine, you will also probably sip it to appreciate and enjoy it more.
I agree. Sipping also is a current slang term meaning to drink a lot of alcohol. So instead of saying, do you want to get some drinks, young people of Gen Z might say, let's sip.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I saw you going into an aside about sipping, and I'm like, if Karen says, let's go sipping, I'm going to really say,
this is not appropriate.
Yeah. So, but it shows the flexibility of language where young people have take this word where you and I would think drink something hot or drink something carefully. You're taking little drinks can be turned into something completely different. What's the opposite of a sip?
Gulp.
G-U-L-P. Now, there are many 7-Elevens in Taiwan, but you don't see their famous big gulp drinks. If you go to the U.S., you don't ask them for a little sip. You ask them for a big gulp, and they give you a large cup, and you can fill it up with coffee or soda pop or whatever you want, and it's honestly very cheap. You can get a very large drink for maybe 30, 35 NT still.
But it's a bad idea to overdo everything, to supersize everything the way we've been doing.
I agree. It is just an iconic thing, though, of 7-Eleven. And to be fair, you don't have to fill it up. But I don't know anybody that gets a big gulp and doesn't fill it all the way up.
It's our human greed.
Yeah, it is. It is. I drank a lot of big gulp coffees the last time I was in the U.S.
Oh, okay. The truth comes out. Okay, so we're going to hear part 2 again of this article that we started yesterday entitled Riding Trains and Sipping Tea, Alishan's Twin Treasures. Beyond its iconic railway, Alishan is also celebrated for its exceptional tea. The slopes surrounding the Alishan Forest Railway are dotted with tea gardens. Surprisingly, the farming history of Alishan tea is relatively recent.
Although tea has been growing in Taiwan for centuries, it wasn't until the 1970s that serious efforts were made to establish tea plantations in Alishan. The combined efforts of the government, academic researchers, and local farmers revealed that Alishan's environment was ideal for tea cultivation. Studies have found that many of the world's top tea-growing regions are typically situated in mountain areas about 50 kilometers from the Tropic of Cancer, and Alishan fits this range perfectly. The region's frequent cloud cover and short daylight hours result in tea leaves with less bitterness and increased sweetness. This gives Alishan tea its distinctive, smooth flavor. One of the main varieties of Alishan tea trees is known as Qingxing Oolong, and Alishan Zulu is among the most famous products made from it.
Today, visitors can explore Alishan's tea gardens to participate in the joy of tea picking. They can also visit tea factories to learn about the detailed process of tea production. Whether drawn by the historic railway or the appeal of tea, visitors to Alishan will find a destination rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. Now, if that doesn't make you want to set up a weekend in Alishan, I don't know what could.
I really like the lesson that we have of these two stories. Yesterday was riding trains. Today is sipping tea. And what we really have is an example of an area transitioning from one industry successfully to another. As we learned yesterday, Alishan was once initially used for timber. That means wood we cut and prepare to use in building. And today, it's completely transitioned away from this into a scenic tourist spot which keeps the economy going. It could have fallen apart. It could have become abandoned and just another wasted project in some removed location.
And the land degraded.
That's right. And instead, now we have people enjoying a special tourist area. It's scenic and beautiful. And now there's a thriving and well-known tea industry. I think that's a very nice story.
Yeah, and tea is really a high-value product now.
That's right. These farmers probably make more money doing this than they ever would if they were logging. That's right, cutting down trees.
Yeah, especially, I would say, from China. A lot of people are very interested in it, and they have bought up some of these farms. So it really is a high-profile industry now.
Yeah, I agree. It sells for extremely high prices in America. For us here, tea can be pricey, but really go to the United States and try to buy some nice tea from Taiwan, and you will be shocked at the prices.
And you will remember to buy some in Taiwan before you make your next trip to the U.S.
That's a much better idea. Maybe you bring it to the U.S. and sell it to the people outside the tea shop.
Yeah. Okay, so our first paragraph again, beyond its iconic railway, Alishan is also celebrated for its exceptional tea. This is a very nice balanced sentence. So first of all, we have been talking about the railway, and it is iconic. That means it represents Alishan as a whole. When you think of Alishan, you think of that train. So it is iconic, like an icon that you see on your computer. So in addition to this wonderful train, this really fun train, we also love Alishan for, or it's very famous because of, its very excellent tea.
Yeah, I love to define iconic as something so famous that every single person knows about it. There are very few people that wouldn't know. If you ask a foreigner in Taiwan that has been here for a year, they know the Alishan Railway. Young children know about it, and the oldest people know about it. Some celebrities are like that. Tom Cruise is probably the best example.
Of an
Everybody
iconic
knows
actor.
this person, even young people that don't watch his movies.
Yeah, and he's not young anymore. The slopes surrounding the Alishan Forest Railway are dotted with tea gardens. So if you go on the train, you will see all around it these beautiful tea gardens.
Slope is a noun here. It means the side of mountains. Usually they are quite steep. That means it is almost straight up and down, but not necessarily. You can have a gentle slope.
If you bike in Taipei, like I do, you will find that there are not many slopes because it is a basin. There used to be a big lake here, so it's quite flat. But the minute you leave Taipei City and go into New Taipei City, you're going to find a lot of slopes. Okay, our last sentence here. Surprisingly, the farming history of Alishan tea is relatively recent. So they always did have tea there. They grew tea there, but now it's on a very large scale.
The Japanese, as we spoke of yesterday, identified Taiwan as a good place to grow high mountain teas, actually way back in the 1920s and 30s, but their focus was on black teas because that's what they preferred, and we'll learn how that's changed in our second paragraph here. Although tea has been growing in Taiwan for centuries, it wasn't until the 1970s that serious efforts were made to establish tea plantations in Alishan.
So, as we just mentioned, people always grew there, or at least for a very long time. They had grown tea in Alishan. But in the 1970s, things changed because they became much more serious about it.
So, Karen, when you see the word plantation, and plantation just means farm, what are some of the crops that you imagine being growing on them?
Bananas.
Yeah, I agree. Cotton, sugar, coffee, tobacco, bananas. These are the most famous crops associated with plantations. Generally speaking, they grow a lot of one kind of crop.
And it also makes me think of the Caribbean and slavery.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Especially, I think, if you're North American, that is very closely tied. Although there are plantations that grow other things outside, they're just really big farms that usually grow things that need a lot of people in order to harvest them. The combined efforts of the government, academic researchers, and local farmers revealed that Alishan's environment was ideal for tea cultivation.
So I guess they got pretty excited once they found that out because they thought, here is a great opportunity to develop the area and make some profit.
That's right. So we have this old railroad line, and what can we do with the space? I'm sure there were people nearby that needed more work and would enjoy some nice profits. So it must have been very exciting, both from a profit kind of motive where people can purchase things and grow and make income locally, and to drive tourism.
And basically, tea is a very wholesome kind of crop, unlike another crop I thought of in terms of plantations was tobacco.
Tobacco, yeah.
Not wholesome.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Studies have found that many of the world's top tea-growing regions are typically situated in mountain areas about 50 kilometers from the Tropic of Cancer, and Alishan fits this range perfectly.
The first thing to figure out is what is the Tropic of Cancer, because we know there are two imaginary circles going around our globe, a certain distance from the equator going north and also going south, which is which. People always mix them up. So just remember, up here, we've got this terrible Cancer that we have to deal with here in the north. In the south, it's the Tropic of Capricorn.
So, Alishan, it fits right in this line, right in this perfect line. I did not know that this was especially good for tea-growing regions, but here we are, right?
Right.
I guess that is just right.
Yeah, so that was luck, I guess, partly.
The region's frequent cloud cover and short daylight hours result in tea leaves with less bitterness and increased sweetness.
Now, why would that be? Because don't we imagine that we need a lot of sunlight, a lot of sunshine to grow crops successfully? Well, they will grow, but probably too fast. So if there is less sunlight, more cloud cover, the plants will grow more slowly, which means that they will probably have a sweeter taste.
That's exactly right, actually. So those cooler temperatures slows down the growth of tea, and the higher elevation also produce more mists and fog, which reduces direct sunlight. So this lack of direct sunlight and the slower tea growth increases the chlorophyll, which you might know as the green. Chlorophyll makes plants green. The more chlorophyll you have, the sweeter flavor you'll have, and that decreases the bitterness. So you're exactly right.
That's good to know. But there's often a lot of things involved that we don't even think about. So pay attention to these different factors that have made growing tea in Alishan so successful.
Our next sentence, this gives Alishan tea its distinctive, smooth flavor, and Karen and I literally just broke that down for you.
Exactly.
So when we say a smooth flavor, we mean it is less bitter or less of any flavor that you don't want. So we'll often talk about smooth tobacco flavors. You'll talk about smooth alcohol. These have less burning in your throat.
It's not just bitterness. There is a word describing what happens with tea when it's sometimes too strong, and that's astringent.
That's right. I actually chose not to use that word. So no, it's great that you bring it up.
Because this word will be useful to you when you're describing other things. For example, an unripe persimmon. Oh my gosh, it will make your mouth pucker. It's astringent. So we're not allowed to give the Chinese, but it's a very common Chinese word that you will want to use in English sometime. Go look it up, okay? It's spelled A-S-T-R-I-N-G-E-N-T. A-S-T-R-I-N-G-E-N-T. Think of what happens when tea is too strong. That means you use too little water and you let it sit too long. Or think of unripe persimmons.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. It's almost better in some ways that you don't use the Chinese because it's such a visceral, natural reaction to biting into something like that.
Oh man, if you have ever done it, you know. Yeah.
One of the main varieties of Alishan tea trees is known as Qingxing Oolong, and Alishan Zulu is among the most famous products made from it.
Okay, so the actual tones are Zulu, and I'm permitted to say that because it's written here.
It's right
there.
So, Karen, here's something I did not know. Green tea, oolong tea, and black tea are all the same plant, but they're processed differently.
Right.
I did not actually know this.
Yeah.
So one of the most important differences between these three teas is how much oxidation the leaves undergo. And oxidation of tea leaves is just like when you cut a piece of fruit and it turns brown. The browner it becomes, the more oxidation that has taken place. So As the fruit turns brown, the flavor also changes. Green tea has the least amount of oxidation. Oolong has some oxidation, and black teas are all the way oxidized. I did not know that. I thought these were different plants.
And it is done basically through roasting.
Yeah.
You roast it.
I watched some videos of people. It feels funny to say oxidizing the plant, but I guess that's what they were doing. And it was interesting. I had no idea that it wasn't nearly as complex as it seems. It's just a natural process. And here we are. We have these very distinct flavors.
And if you like a really full-bodied heavy tea, you will probably go for black tea. If you want to go for all these health benefits that people tout online, that green tea is good for you, then go for green tea.
Do you have a strong preference for any particular teas?
Honestly, I'm not a tea drinker.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I drink tea really occasionally. I drink a latte in the morning, water the rest of the day.
Really?
That's it.
I really enjoy pairing tea with food, and just some food just goes better with different teas. I think if I were to just choose a cup to drink, I would have black tea. If I'm pairing it with food, I really enjoy how simple green tea is with more complex flavors.
Okay, it's not that I completely don't drink tea. I have drunk tea these past few days just by chance, but I eat a lot of sushi, and when you eat sushi, you drink a lot of green tea.
Right.
So that's one time when I do drink a lot of green tea. And the other thing is I have a problem at home. You know that people will give you gifts over the years, and I have a lot of tea at home.
Yeah.
Now, I have cleared it out before, maybe twice, but now I have another accumulation of tea, and I think I actually should drink this tea.
I like getting gifts, but I almost always have to flip them because I suppose we're very fortunate where we get a lot of gifts. And it's just I have so much. I could not possibly eat all this or drink all this.
Yeah.
And I just start giving gifts to everybody that I just want to say thank you to. People think I'm so wonderfully generous. And really, I'm just like, I can't possibly eat all this.
Regifting. Yeah, I have to do that. But I learned that the trick is you have to do it right away or the stuff gets old. And then it's not really a nice gift to give people.
Oh, yeah. Next day, I'm thinking, who needs to hear thank you? And that's how I do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to move on to the last paragraph of the whole article. Today, visitors can explore Alishan's tea gardens to participate in the joy of tea picking. Personally, I think this is a wonderful idea because we don't just like going someplace and looking at, oh, isn't it pretty? We want it to be interactive. So I think that this kind of tourism is excellent. They do this for fruits as well and some vegetables. And it's great to do it for tea.
I wrote down, it's funny you say that. I wrote down, this is the Asian version of apple picking back home.
Exactly.
It's fun to take kids to apple country. It's even better to grab a basket, go to the trees, and pick them yourself. That's a very fun experience. Although, if you do it more than a few times a year, it's not so good. It's great to go to the pumpkin patch and pick your pumpkin, pick your apples, and pick your tea. But it's hard work to do it every day.
Yeah, it really is. If you do it once in a while, it's just a nice outing. Okay, so let's move on to the next sentence. They can also visit tea factories to learn about the detailed process of tea production. And I did that just like less than a month ago.
Really?
Yes. It was fascinating because the person who was our guide was so knowledgeable, and he is so accomplished. He has different businesses involving tea. We really got the rundown on tea.
This is a little bit of the opposite of the phrase, you don't want to know how the sausage is made.
No, you do want to know. It's fascinating.
I don't know if I'd want to go to the slaughterhouse, though.
No, not the slaughterhouse, but for tea,
we
had a wonderful time. Yes.
I went to the Coca-Cola factory in Atlanta once, and that was shockingly fascinating. I thought it might be, okay, this is just a curiosity. It was very entertaining seeing how Coca-Cola was made. I was very much a fan.
That said, do not drink soda.
Let me drink my Red Bull into the microphone here.
Soda is not good for you. Avoid added sugar and avoid processed foods. Okay, I'm finished. I'm off my soapbox. Next sentence. Whether drawn by the historic railway or the appeal of tea, visitors to Alishan will find a destination rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. What's not to love?
But isn't it great that there's a 1-2 punch not just the scenic views, like you say, but the tea plantations. You enjoy nice meals. You can learn about tea production, enjoy some of it, maybe even some that you picked yourself. That's a lovely little vacation because it's more than just sightseeing. Like you said, it's interactive. And I think this is a wonderful story about transitioning from one type of economy to another. And we know that tourism is a great, stable industry in many ways. And we've seen its benefits in Africa and all across the United States as well.
If it's well managed.
If it's well managed. And if you can do it successfully, then that's a great thing. And I'm happy to see that Alishan has done it so successfully.
That said, if you just put me in a mountain where I can hike, I'm happy with just that. I just love hiking in mountains. So that alone certainly is worth the trip. We have a few questions for you. Number 1, which of the following is not true about the Alishan Forest Railway?
Letter A, its original purpose was to transport passengers.
And that is not true. We found the answer already. It was to transport
timber.
That's right. They were cutting down trees for wood.
Although those original Japanese railroads were designed around transporting people, it was not a commercial interest. That may have confused you if you focused on that ending story I gave at the bottom of day 1.
And after all, you do need people around to load the stuff up and take it down and unload it. Okay, letter B, although we've already found the right answer, is...
It had a positive impact on the economy of Chiayi. That's true.
True. See, it lost its importance with the rise of road transportation.
That's true.
Largely true as well. And D?
Its construction took place while Japan governed Taiwan, which is also true.
Also true. On to number 2. What are the correct descriptions of a Z-shaped switchback?
So we have 5 options here. You have to select 2. Number 1, it circles a mountain in a winding path.
That's wrong. That sounds like a spiral to me. Number 2, it uses a curve close to 180 degrees shaped like a horseshoe. That does not describe a Z-shaped switchback.
Number 3, it is a common design for tracks on flat plains.
It is totally unnecessary. If you're on a flat plane, you can just go in a straight line. Number 4, it is highly effective in areas with restricted space. And this is a correct answer. We're going to have 2 correct answers. This is the first one. We don't have a lot of space. We're going to have to find a way to move the train to where it has to go without stretching it over a large area since we don't have that space.
And number 5, it allows trains to run back and forth in a zigzag pattern.
And that's exactly what it does. So 5 is the second correct answer.
And that means that number 4 and 5 are correct. Letter D is the correct letter choice.
Question number 3. In which region is sweeter tea with reduced bitterness most likely to be produced?
Letter A says Region A with abundant sunshine and clear skies. This region provides plenty of sunlight for the tea leaves, which we were very clear that is the opposite.
Buzz, wrong answer. B. Region B, the tea leaves are exposed to intense sunlight, even though the days are short. Wrong.
Letter C, Region C, despite the long days, cloud cover frequently interrupts the sunshine. This is bad for the chlorophyll. No.
Yeah, they weren't long days, okay? And D, Region D, short days and consistently cloudy skies are typical of this region. That is the correct answer. It's the only one left, and it happens to be right. Number 4.
What do we learn from the passage about Alishan?
A. Local governments were initially unwilling to support tea planting in Alishan. Not true.
Letter B. Tea gardens are commonly found in the lower parts of its mountain ranges.
No, they should be in the higher elevations. C. Its location is similar to many regions known for producing high-quality tea. That is correct. C is the answer. And D.
It has contributed significantly to tea production in Taiwan since the 1700s.
Doesn't go back quite that far.
No way.
And that's it for today. Tune in next time. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.